Welcome back to today's episode. Today I have with me retired Sergeant Rob Winsett of the Kentucky State Police, who's going to teach us basic first aid. So Rob, what is your connection with Trooper Island?
Well, actually I was the commander or the camp director of Trooper Island for several years. I started in the early 90s and run through the mid 2000s as the camp director. And as of right now, I'm still the longest tenured camp director of the island.
So how many kids, and I know, I mean, like the 5 years I've been here, it seems like I've had thousands of kids. Is it safe to say close to 10,000, 8,000 maybe?
Probably well over 8,000 because the majority of the years that I was here, we started out, we had 7-day camps. And then I cut it to 5-day camps, and we pick up weekend camps with specialty kids. And we've had, in addition to our regular kids, over the years, we've had kids that were blind. We've had kids that were deaf or hearing impaired. We had kids that had a medical condition called PKU. We've had several other types of weekend camps or specialty camps that's been added in to further serve kids from Kentucky and give them an opportunity to camp that wouldn't have had an opportunity.
Wow, that's awesome. So what do you have in store for us today?
Well, today, while I was here, we didn't have anybody extra to take care of the first aid and all of that. And I was an EMT, so it sort of fell on the camp director and the head counselor. And we're going to just go over what are some things that you can have in the first aid kit if you had it around your house. Some things maybe if you wanted to go on a hike or if you were going to do an overnight camp. And just depending on what the circumstances are, you may want something real light that you can pack in a pocket, or you may want something in a small container that's got a strap that you can throw over or stick in a backpack.
Okay, we're going to go on inside. I think, Sarge, you've got some activities they can do at home to follow along. So let's go inside and see what we've got planned.
Sure.
All right, come on in. All right, Sarge, so we're in our infirmary here at Trooper Island. What do you got in store for us? What's some of the things that, let's say for instance that one of these kids were to fall and it's kind of a bad cut. What's some of the things they can use to stop what's some things they may have at home that they can use to stop the bleeding?
Okay. Depending on how bad it is, something as easy as just putting direct pressure. Okay. And if it's a family,
if you want to demonstrate how that would look, I mean,
if it's a family member or something like that you're not concerned with, and so you had a cut here, you can just actually take and hold and keep pressure, and that may reduce the bleeding. The next thing is probably to use some kind of a tourniquet.
So what do you mean by tourniquet?
It can be as simple as a belt.
So like my belt that I have on here,
you can take that.
That can stop someone from bleeding?
Yes, you can take that. If you're bleeding and the cut is down here, then you're going to come up like this, and you can just take and just wrap it around and put pressure on, and the pressure here usually will slow it down. Now they make, obviously, tourniquets that you can put in a first aid kit and stuff like that, and they work just a little bit different, but a belt or even a piece of rope and a stick will work as a homemade tourniquet, depending on what you have available at the time.
So, outside you were talking about the, if you go out on a nature walk, which we're planning on doing, is one of the episodes here. What's some of the things that we could have, like in I think you brought a first aid kit over here. Do you care to kind of go through what should be in that first aid kit, and I'll move my belt and get your kit over here? Well, okay. So let me just put that over here, and we'll get your kit out. And if you don't care, let's show the kids at home what you actually have in your first aid kit that they can use.
Okay. Depending on what you're going to be doing, if you're going to be doing some overnight camping or something like that, so you're going fishing and you're going to be out all day, then you may want to take a few extra things. If it's going to be something just as simple as just going out on a trail and taking a hike, obviously you don't want a whole lot of weight. So you can reduce it down, have some sting kill or a homemade sting kill. You can have stuff like a few Band-Aids. You can have maybe a little roll of gauze, have some antibiotic ointment of some type so that you can clean the wound out. Usually some type of a triple antibiotic ointment or something works really well. You may have some type of peroxide, another little thing that you can have, and it's several different brands, but it just comes in a little bottle. It's got a little pump on it, and it will foam out and clean the wound up if it happens to be a cut. And another thing that is always good to have is just some hand sanitizer in a small bottle, because if it's cut or something like that to keep infection down,
right,
you'll want to put some on your hands,
okay,
clean your hands off, and then you can actually use this around with whatever you've got, maybe your shirt or the person's shirt or something, because it's not going to ruin anything that way, just to clean around it a little bit. If you're going to be out in the sun all day, one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you've got some sunscreen with you, and that will maybe prevent you getting sunburned.
right.
As you well know from your time down here, even applying a lot of sunscreen on the campers, they're still going to get burnt sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And if you've got sunscreen, then it will at least reduce it down.
And you know, one of the rules of thumb that we try to use here is between each session, which is about 45 minutes, we reapply.
Right.
So for you all at home, if you're going to be out for an extended period of time, you're going to be out at the pool, make sure, after that 45 minutes or 30 to 45 minutes, be sure that you're using that sunscreen. And even on a cloudy day, just because it's cloudy does not mean you still can't
You still can get burned really bad.
So I guess my next question is, I heard you say something like an at-home remedy that you can make.
Mm-hmm.
What does that consist of? Like I think you were talking about bee stings or bug bites.
If you're at home and say you got a bee sting or wasp sting or something like that, even a spider bite, you can mix up some baking soda, okay, and some water. And with the sting, if you'll put equal amounts of water and the vinegar in it, then mixed with the baking soda, it will help to take the sting out, plus it'll take the swelling or the itching out of it also. If you've got something like mosquito bites, chiggers, stuff like that, which is going to be very common if you're out in your yards or on a trail, you can just use water and baking soda. And what you want to do, again, is just put enough of the water into the baking soda that it makes a paste. Okay. You don't have to say there's going to be a certain amount or anything like that, but if you just take your baking soda, put it in a little container, and then put the water for a bug bite. If it's a sting, put a combination of water and vinegar in it, and mix it up, make a paste, and then just apply it to the area, and you can just keep repeating that.
Well, I'd like to kind of demonstrate that for the kids at home. Now, my daughter, just like when your daughter was here, I know she got covered in bug bites and stings, and I'd like to think, because our daughters are sweet, that the bugs like biting on them. So I want to see if my daughter will come and join us, and she's got several on her. So while she's kind of getting ready, Madeline, if you don't care, I'm going to have you pop up on this side. I was able to get the baking soda, just a little container here, just little items that you have at home, as well as a bottle of water.
Right.
So if you all will follow along with me at home, if you want to pause and go get these items so that you can have some made up, so that when you're outside playing, or you're at a ball game, or something of that nature, you get these bug bites, you can at least have a little bit of stuff made up, because it shouldn't dissipate after a while, should it?
If you put it in a container like this, it's got a lid on it, and all that you have to do is, maybe if you've gotten some sandwich meat in one of the little containers, that instead of throwing it away, if it's got the lid and it's still good, mix it up with the lid on it, you sort of seal it up and then it'll stay for a while.
So Madeline, are you okay with us? All right, so walk me through this if you don't care, Sarge.
Okay.
How much do I need to, I mean, just put like...
You just put a small amount in there, and where that's sort of clotted and clumped up a little bit,
yeah,
then you'll want to take your fingers or a spoon, either one, and just sort of mash it up.
okay.
Get the clots out of it, or the clumps out of it. And then when you use your water, and again, you can look on the internet or in different books and it'll tell you mix so many parts of water and so many parts of baking soda or the vinegar and water and so forth. But if you don't have anything that you're going to be measuring it out, just put your baking soda in first,
Okay.
and then just put a little bit of water in there. Very little bit,
Like a teaspoon?
Yes. And then mix that up. And if it goes to a good paste, then you're in good shape. If you've got too much
like,
water,
looks like it maybe not have enough water here, or is
I think that you've got plenty of water in there now. But you can adjust. If you've got too runny, you can add a little bit more baking soda.
Okay.
If it's not enough of a paste and it's too dry, just put a tad more water into it until you got it mixed up.
So Madeline, what I'm going to let you do is using your finger, Jim here, and get some of this. I guess you put this on your finger, just kind of rub it on these bites. So how does that feel? Okay. Tell me, these bug bites that she had would probably go through this whole pound box of baking soda.
And it may, some of it fall off like it's doing now. That's just part of it. But if you mix it up and you leave it on, after a while it's going to dry and sort of flake off.
Yeah.
If it's still itching, then you can put some more back on.
So now you said for a bee sting, we would add.
If you got a bee
plain
sting,
distilled white vinegar.
just put some plain distilled white vinegar and put half equal amounts of water and vinegar, or you can even use straight vinegar if it's bad enough. Instead of the water, mix it up with the baking soda, and in addition to helping with the itch, the vinegar will actually draw and take the sting away.
Okay. Well, I know we also have, I know you mentioned kind of the hydrocortisone anti-itch cream that we use, but we also, at camp, I don't know if you've ever used these before, but these little swabs.
We went through hundreds of those.
Yeah, and kids, if you get those, what you do is you basically break that and you squeeze that in, and where this into this Q-tip part is, it'll turn green. And then once it's green, you just rub it over your insect bite or your sting, and it just kind of give you that little bit of relief that you might need.
And the same with those, with the baking soda mix. When it dries and starts to symptoms come back, maybe use that one again, or get you another one. Do the same thing, put it on. Usually a couple of them, and that's enough time that it takes the sting out of it or the itch out of it.
So kids, what I need you to do is upload your videos or your pictures to our Trooper Island Facebook page using the hashtag Virtual Trooper Island. I want you to show us your, what do you want to call this, the insect paste?
Home remedy cure.
Remedy cure, and or the first aid kit that the Sarge told us that you could have. Show us what first aid kit that you've made, something that you may be able to help, with your parents. If you, obviously, with all of our activities, make sure you get parental permission before you start raiding the refrigerator for baking soda and the vinegar, so you can let mom and dad know what you're doing. And who knows, you may be teaching them something. But I want to thank you. I know Madeline's thanking you at this point, but I want to thank you. Like I said, you're a wealth of information. I'm so honored that you come back to the island to continue teaching the kids. Because I know for me, this island has a special place in my heart.
Yes.
And just the virtual side of it too is a new avenue that we're using. And you said you had over 8,000 kids. This is a possibility we'll reach over 8,000 this year alone.
Right.
And I mean, that's just something special. But I want to thank you also. I want to thank you so much. Thank you, Madeline, for joining us. And until next time, we will see you next week. Remember, be safe, be responsible, and make good choices. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.